March Madness Marathon. So if you're joining us for the very first time here on the live stream, we are going live for 24 hours on the hour, every single hour. And if you have not yet registered for, we've got a scavenger hunt that we're running, and also fun and games and some great guest interviews that I'm going to be doing. When it's just me, I'm going to try and keep the sessions under the 15 minutes so you can binge watch if you're just catching up. But if you're joining us, please let me know. I can see your names and comment below and let me know you're joining us on the live as well. And there is a link if I can't see your name to register so we can see. But let's dig into the good stuff for this hour. To this hour, I've invited in an amazing brand and podcast strategist. She has been a client of ours for some time now, and she's going to talk to us about some really great reasons why you should add podcasting into your sales and marketing strategies. And I've also got some pretty exciting news to announce with Anne-Marie, but hang in. Let's interview Anne-Marie first, and then I'm going to share some other exciting news about Anne-Marie as well. So let's everyone say hi and welcome Anne-Marie. Hey, Anne-Marie, how are you?
Good, thanks, Sally. How are you? Wow, Mad March, eh? 24 hours live streaming. Oh, my goodness.
I know. I'm like nuts. My team are like ripping their hair out right now. Like, Sally, you haven't finished the workbook. And I'm like, it's coming. We're out of control here in Team Sparkle. Well, the workbook is hopefully up now, so anyone will hopefully be able to get that workbook. But Anne-Marie, really, first off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is that you do.
Wow. Okay. So I started podcasting back in 2008, and I was back in the career industry doing personal branding. And I love that space. I love the medium, even though back then people were saying, what's a podcast? And many of my colleagues said, yeah, what are you doing podcasting? Hardly anyone knows about it, but I just love the medium. And over the last 13, nearly 14 years now, I've come to realize just how powerful that whole podcasting space is. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But now it's gone full circle, so that a lot of my clients, people that have been watching me, my colleagues and so forth, and they're saying, well, you've been doing podcasting for such a long time, you've made all of the mistakes, and I have, and then some. So being able to support them and getting their message out. So together we are impacting the world, one message, one podcast at a time. So that's me.
I love that. And hey, you're using the power of one, which is a huge thing we preach here inside the Sparkle world. Now, look, I'd love for you to share some, I guess, those people out there that have been thinking about podcasting and are like, is it a good fit? Why do you think, in regards to like the sales and marketing strategy side, what are some really like key benefits for sort of stepping into that podcasting space?
Yes, great question. You know, one of the things that I have come to realise over the number of years, and like you, I love social media, a lot of those different platforms, but it's something quite unique that I've noticed with my podcast, and that is that you can connect and build a level of engagement when you do it correctly. And I'll share a little bit more about that in a moment, but you really can walk and journey alongside someone and build know, like, and trust and nurture them along the customer journey in a way that no other platform has been able to do, for me anyway, and that's why I love that particular space. I mean, I've had people that have become clients that have said to me, I was on the treadmill at the gym and you were talking about something and all of a sudden I just needed to run to the bathroom because I was crying my eyes out. You can connect and move people that way, and let's just face it, the world has gone cray-cray, and I know many of the people who follow you, Sally, such as yourself, has a message to share that you know will impact the world. And what a great way to be able to connect with people, to be able to help them transform and change what they're doing so that they can live a better life, whatever that means for them, and then go on to impact others. And podcasting is certainly a space that will allow to do that. But you asked what certain ways? Well, there's been 3 different ways that I have found really works well with a podcast when you have a good strategy in place. You can definitely build your reach with your ideal client. So I know that you are an expert in all of the things, funnels and so forth. Now imagine incorporating a solid podcast strategy within that funnel, within the way that you are marketing and building and reaching your ideal client. So building reach for sure. Building your reputation as that trusted authority. Over the last couple of years, we've seen more people, more businesses come to the online space than I think we have ever before, which is a good thing, which means your ideal client is now most likely hanging out online too. So you can then build that reputation as a trusted authority. And, so often we hear marketers say, you want to show that everyone, you want to dominate your industry. And what I say is, look, we're not saying that you're better than anyone else or everyone else. You're better placed to serve and be supportive to your ideal client. And a podcast, with the message and the stories that you share will enable you to do that. So you become the choice versus just a choice when your ideal client is ready to move forward. And then lastly, when you've got the right funnels in place, that's where we reach out to Sally to help us. You can then begin to nurture listeners into leads from your very first episode. And that's what, we really, it helps our clients do. Build their reach, build reputation, and build your revenue, nurturing listeners into leads from your first episode. And for people that have already launched a podcast and thinking, well, I've already done first episode years ago, that's all right. You can incorporate a strategy that will reintroduce and really speak to your ideal client. But what's really important is the stuff that you do, because we can continue to share our content. But if we don't have the right steps in place to be able to continue nurturing, and let's face it, there are different people with different communication styles. Some of them like to read as well. And all of the things that you teach in combination with some of the things that I teach, I think is a pretty powerhouse thing going on there. So anyway, I'm passionate about that industry and, the support that we offer.
Look, I love podcasting, and a number of times we've tried to get our podcast off the ground. We've got a podcast manager, so, it's all coming back. But, even if you don't have your own podcast, one thing that I guess in the early days when I didn't have a lot of money to, build a list and, not hundreds and thousands of dollars to spend on ads, still running ads, but spending money on ads, but then being a guest speaker on other people's podcasts. I think, you could go and do say you're launching something, doing a podcast tour. So going to other people's audiences and educating those people's audiences, serving their audiences, helps you tap into other lists of people and finding those complementary businesses that work really well and aligned to each other. I think that's why we work so well together is, like you said, you're top of funnel, but you're also bottom of funnel nurture. I mean, falling asleep with somebody talking to you in your ear is such an intimate connection and relationship. Like I remember before working with Amy Porterfield, I can't tell you how many nights I fell asleep. My husband would start snoring and in would go Amy. And I felt like she was my best friend before we became friends. And I don't know, the power of voice is such a, I think that's why Clubhouse went off when it first started, right? That verbal connection you can, and people don't have to be, if you don't want to do live podcasts to camera, there's that barrier of, less fear of sharing your message if you don't have to put on lipstick and do your hair.
would say you never have a bad hair day when you have an audio podcast. And, there are ways, of course, that you can incorporate video. But if people are really freaking out about video, then, I mean, for years we did audio. And it's interesting because before the video space came, people would often say, I've been listening to your voice for years. Now I can get to see you as well. And it is true. But there's something very powerful about listening. The trust that is built through that, and you've just confirmed that yourself. I mean, I don't know how many ebooks and how many other things that I have bought because someone on a host of a podcast has said, "Yeah, got to get a copy of that book." Well, there goes my phone, out to Kindle and things like that. It's the power of podcasting.
Yeah, I love that. Well, for everyone, Anne-Marie is absolutely awesome at what she does. And I mean, the skills and everything she teaches for those who want to leverage how to, start a podcast, get onto podcasts and really the brand and everything that goes behind your podcast as well. I mean, it's a whole, it's a whole traffic source, really. I mean, we talk about, people always talk about Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn, but a great place is podcast. It's such an intimate space. And look, when we met, I remember we met through it was the Business in Heels conference, and I was managing your room, and you were a speaker on stage there, and that's how we first connected through a networking event. And then, I just got on really, really well. And then you decided one day you came and you did one of our free trainings, and the next thing we've gone from chatting to you joining the Sparkle World, which was, I mean, it's been such an honor and a pleasure working with you. I'm not even sure how long. It feels like I've known you for years. But before you joined, I mean, what was happening in your business before actually, coming in and joining the Sparkle World?
Well, I think I've tried every piece of tech and then some over the years. And so we had just gone through investing in a startup tech, and that was just not panning out. And then said to my team, well, we need to move across to this particular platform. And so when we met you, we were in the process of updating some of those processes and so forth. And I knew that we needed to find something because you just cannot continue to scale your business unless you've got the tech to support you and you're using it, you're leveraging it to the best of your ability. And one of the things that I admit, my personality or the way that I operate is I'm very much a quick start, love creative new projects, getting in there and, flying by the seat of our pants. Why would you want to do boring things? But I knew from a business perspective, we had to have that stability and we needed to be able to track and monitor, which is another thing that I really didn't do. So that was really going on. And so when I met you, I thought, now here is someone who's been doing this, who geeks out, loves the sexy, sexy numbers. And that's something that I knew I needed to really start to monitor, because I love the marketing and all of the front end stuff. But unless you're tracking and monitoring what's going on the back end, you can't continue to improve and tweak what you're not tracking. And I realized that was a huge gap in my business. So we jumped on in, and I have to say that, through working with you, there's three different things. There's definitely been a real streamlining, and the way that you set up the tagging systems, the way that you set up the 7 steps from stage 1 right through to stage 7. I mean, I now have completely reorganized my back end in, online, in those 7 steps. Things are filed and I can find things. I mean, how often do we create documents and think, now, where did I find that? What mood was I in? Did I file that under D or maybe E? I don't know what mood I was in. So it's filed there, which means now that I can empower my team to be able to find things, and it really keeps me more focused and organized. So the streamlining of that's been really important. Secondly, it's the sanity, because I think as business owners, we often can get overwhelmed in all of that back end stuff, with all of the different things that we need to do as part of business, we can't empower our team if we don't have those systems set up, if we're not monitoring, if we're not tracking. And one of the things that I think you said, and I learned this from someone a few years before that, because he was very much into, this particular person I was interviewing on a podcast was around the webinars and things like that. And I said, so how long did it take you to got your formula? He said, oh, 2 years. And I'm thinking, 2 years? I probably would have given up after 4 months, you know. And so I realized that the things that we continue to track and monitor, we change, we tweak. And that's what we've been doing. And so the sanity aspect and then the sexy numbers, I've been able to, since working with you, track certain things that we're doing to a point that we know the things that are working, and then we know the things that need to be tweaked. And I've also been able to identify the things that we want to keep doing in the future, the things that we want to change, some of the things that we can automate. And I can actually go back into Keep, find out how long someone's been, on our list, what did they do, all of those kind of tracking and monitoring, which I wasn't able to do before, and make decisions. And I think that that's, it's been priceless really to be able to do that. And the times that we needed help with all of the, the funnels and thises and the that's and all of that, when you've got someone who explains it and it's there in black and white and you're there sharing the screen with us and all of that, makes it so much more simpler, I think, than trying to nut it out on our own. And so, it's wonderful. So streamlining, sanity, and the sexy numbers.
I love that. We love it when you jump into the VOZ and share where you're at as well. I mean, that's my one claim to fame is the VOZ. How do you enjoy the VOZ? I mean, sometimes you just jump in and just are quietly sitting in the background, which I love.
I know. The VOZ is great because, and I know how often we'll pop in, I go, I've got a quick question. And I know you and Kat and the others kind of go, yeah, we know the quick questions. But sometimes it is, to be able to ask and say, do I need to do this or that? And go, no, just click that button. And think, oh, well, that was really so simple. And yet, with the back end kind of stuff, you may click something or unclick something or just have something that you don't know that you don't know, that you know, and your team knows, that Kat know and others know. And I think that, again, is priceless. Why try and reinvent the wheel when you've got the VOZ there to be able to jump in? And also too, often as entrepreneurs, it can be a bit of a lonely life, in that just to be able to go into a community who are all working and building on that same thing, we can learn from one another. And if we can cut the corner or share something that we've done that has had some great results, why wouldn't you want to tap into that, and avoid certain things? And, well, that didn't really work well. Well, all right, I'm not going to do that then. So I think the VOZ is priceless again. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we love the VOZ, and, people just jump in sometimes. Yeah. Quick questions. But when they have a win as well, it's so nice that they can jump in and celebrate with everyone who's building in the same things, but they've just got their own little sparkle to it. And I mean, one thing that really stood out for me that I loved what you said was how you've taken the 7 stages. And not only have you used that in your automation, but you've used it in your filing systems and where you organize not just inside of Keep, but all the other things as well. I mean, that's really taking those 7 stages. And what that then does is when you pass these things off to the team, with the tagging and the 7 stages, it's duplicatable and replicatable. Like it's a system that anyone can look at, and they don't need to be explained where it links to or what program it's part of or what stage of the funnel or life cycle that someone's in. But I love how you've taken that 7 stages and run with it and just implemented it across everything. I just think it's absolutely awesome.
Well, like networking, I've done a lot of networking over the last couple of years. And for me, I love notebooks, and I know you do too. And we often have several going on at the one time. But then there's who was that person again? And then you're flicking through the notebooks and you can't find the notebook and where it was. And so I've created a networking spreadsheet. Well, that is in stage 3, the nurture stage. And so that is there, the spreadsheet. And so now what I've got, my new team member, and I mentioned this to you beforehand, my OBM, my online business manager, who's been with me for years, helped me set up a lot of what I've been doing with you has unfortunately had to leave. And so rather than doing, I maybe did just a little bit of a kind of, oh my goodness, but now I've onboarded two new team members, one very much who is going to take over the role of tech. So I'm now getting her to go back in. She's already set up the newsletter. So, there's training already. That was a plus. So I've got her now to go and document all of our tags. So we're going to have them so we know exactly. I want to document everything. And then I want to some of the funnels that we have so that it's there visually. So we know, well, this and this, because otherwise that can become quite, again, overwhelming if it's not kind of documented and people know where to find things. And so, yeah, I'm excited about that. We wouldn't have been able to do that before if we hadn't have got those 7 steps and had everything kind of documented.
Yeah, the way tagging system totally changed my life. I remember, we were already running an automation business, but then when I learnt the way, I was like, oh, game changer. It truly is.
A million things, don't you? And you think, now what was that? And what are we using that for? And, we're only just scratching the surface. There's so much more. But I think what's really important often, and this is the biggest lesson that I've learned often, we need to set up the foundations first, but we want to go through to the, all of that stuff, all of the bright, shiny. But look, the bright, shiny will come, but not at the expense of your sanity if you don't do those foundations first. And if you don't get that right, the whole lot can come crumbling down, can't it?
Oh, totally. And it's like I always say, just build the foundation right first. That's my soapbox moment. I'm on the soapbox, use the right tech from the start. Stop using MailChimp and Google Forms because you're just going to have to rebuild it again. Stop trying to run, if you're a real business owner, stop trying to run a business on a shoestring budget and just get the good tech. If you're serious, just get the good tech. If you're concerned about $10 a day for the tech, then you're not a serious business owner because literally that's all it costs, $10 a day to run a business. And it's just stuff in a box. If you're worried about $10 a day, you're not taking your business seriously. Look, Anne-Marie, you know that we've just launched the new program, which is the Freedom Funnel Academy, which is a quicker, faster way to profit than the Sales and Marketing School. But before, for somebody who's been through our program, and it's literally, we're just simplifying it with challenges, webinars, and all the things. For those that attended the webinars recently, you'll know what it is. But those who are on the fence about joining the Crazy Sparkle, having access to the VOZ, and building out the type of strategies that we do, what would you say to those people?
Look, what you were saying before, if you're really serious about building a business that is going to impact your own life because it's going to give you the freedom to be able to make the decisions that you want and the freedom lifestyle, as well as being able to make a much bigger impact in the world, trying to figure it out on your own, trying to piecemeal, if you will, together with some of the free technology here and this technology there. Don't do it. We've all tried to do it in the past. And if you can start from scratch and be helped and do it the right way, from setting up a very simple automation, which could, when working really well, generate 6 figures for you, and you can build on that so you don't then have to move everything across. If I think back to the systems and what we've put into place, and that I had a number of different technologies, and then it was, all right, we're going to use Keep, and then, all right, going to go back to Kajabi.
I know, because you were using Teachable.
I went away and then I came back.
Campaign or something, weren't you, beforehand?
Yeah, that's right. So I'd used so many different pieces of tech over the years, free ones and then paid ones. And then, as I said, I invested in one who promised the world and, didn't provide much at all. And so it's interesting because having that now in place on Kajabi, our one of our programs, it was interesting. I was interviewed on a podcast, and that connected me to someone who then became a client, who then is so impressed with what happened. They've now a partner who has now introduced us to what could become a massive project in the corporate space. would not have happened had it been, had the technology not allowed, because you could have the best content that no one else is teaching. But if the deliverable, if the user experience is not there, then that's going to limit your ability to grow. So why not leverage the tech that is there for you so you can focus on filling your funnels and, being who it is that you're created to be and helping people. Let the tools that are there for you help you, and the tech team, the team to help you, Sally and her team. Why would
Oh,
you not leverage that?
well, I mean, it's been an absolute privilege to watch you take the things and implement the strategies and do the doing. I mean, I can show you all the showing and give you all the click by click, but you've taken it and you've implemented it and you've taken action. And I've been so impressed with Anne-Marie. Here's the special exciting news that we just spoke about before coming in here live. We had a bit of a conversation, and I've actually just invited Anne-Marie to become part of Team Sparkle. So for those who are joining the Freedom Funnel Academy, once we get up and running, we've got to figure a few logistical parts out. But Anne-Marie is going to be helping with anything podcast and connection related. She'll be running her own session every week that people can jump in and pick her brain and find out more about how to get those sort of podcasts up and running. So welcome, Anne-Marie, not just to the Sparkle
I've got something here I prepared earlier. Can you hear that?
Oh my God, I love you. So this was just a conversation we had in the background. I said, I've been thinking about this for a really long time. I'm wondering if you're interested in, coming on to teach each week inside the Sparkle World to our Freedom Funnel Academy students. And she said yes. She said yes. So welcome to Team Sparkle.
How could I not? I mean, oh my goodness, get to hang out with you and all your other wonderful team. I mean, seriously, if you're not, if you want to be in a place where you get access, not just to Sally, but all of the other incredible people that you really are creating a community of specialists in their field that you can tap into. What other community actually does that? I don't know of any other community, Sally, that does that. So you're championing this new community, which really are supporting people no matter what step and no matter what stage that they're at in their journey of business.
Yeah, look, I am so proud of our team, and it wouldn't be what it is, the Sparkle Class Academy without the team. I mean, the fact that we can have amazing specialists and everyone, you'll all get to meet a lot of the team on and off over this crazy 24 hours. Make sure you register as well, guys, because up the top, there's a workbook with a scavenger hunt. And on the last 2 hours of this crazy ride we're about to go on together, there will also be my entire team are going to come into Zoom, and you can join us in Zoom for the last 2 hours. And we're going to share some behind the scenes things. You're going to get to meet my team and what they do. And, it's like our little finale party that we're going to do at the end. And Anne-Marie's, because now she's on the team, she's coming too. Yay! Thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for spending your time. I bet you didn't expect that it would turn into a team, come join my team interview.
You know what? Amazing thing happened when you step up, you say yes to yourself, you invest in yourself, to investing in the people that you know are going to support you in taking you to the next level. So
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing all of these new incredible entrepreneurs, incredible coaches, consultants, speakers, course creators come into your community and be shown click by click, step by step on how they can build their business.
I love it. Kat was one of my early clients, and now look at what she does. Like, literally, we lost Kat yesterday for 6 hours because in Tasmania, they didn't just lose power, they also lost telephone. She said it was so eerie because they couldn't call anyone. She's like, has Russia invaded, right? Because there was nothing.
We need to go back to homing pigeons or something. I don't know.
That's what I said. The telegraph and homing pigeons was exactly what I said to her. And literally, I messaged you my team because I did 3 webinars yesterday, and then I had 2 back-to-back consults booked. And I'm messaging Joyce and saying, Joyce, find out what's going on with Kat. I'm like, is she in hospital? Has her husband not told me? Like, I'm freaking out. Like, where's my cat? Because literally Kat and I see each other more than we see our partners. And to lose, it was a good 3 hours or more before I knew where she was and what she was doing. But then the internet came on sporadically enough that she sent a message that said the internet was out. But it did make us realize that we need to have a cat contingency plan, because what happened when she was off, we were about to run our final webinar. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got no cat. What do we do? It took 3 Team Sparkle members to come together, because they all had different things going on at that time, to be one cat. And it really goes to show, you know, when you've got an amazing team that can come together when, you know, when the internet and the phone systems go down in Tasmania, you know, they've all stepped up to the plate in between all their other meetings and things. So thank you to my amazing team. But we actually put into, we do write about an IDS, identify, discuss and solve, in our weekly team meeting. I said we need to add a cat contingency to our IDS topic next week. What happens when we lose cat?
Morning the cat, we need a contingency for the cat. So yeah.
She's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Anne-Marie, for coming on in, and for everyone out there on the live stream, thank you all as well for joining us. All right, so this is the go, guys. We are doing 24 hours of this craziness on the hour, every hour. We'll be bringing in guests. I'll be teaching. You'll get to meet some of my team on and off, and no matter where you are in the world, we will be with you during your waking hours. Pretty cool, right? So we've got a workbook above that you can join. It's got a scavenger hunt that you can do, and then we're going to share with you how you can submit that scavenger hunt at the end as well. And the final 2 hours, we're doing a finale party where you can all join us inside of Zoom. We can talk about all the fun, and then all of these videos that are streaming live for the next 24 hours will be available to the public for another 24 hours after this event. So we are trying, apart from the interviews, the streams, we're trying to keep them around that 15-minute mark. And that way you can binge in between episodes if you're catching up. But you will have this 24-hour block and then another 24 hours after before we pull all the content down. Because as you can imagine, we're going to repurpose and use it all. All right. So, hey, everyone. Welcome. I can see a few of you are starting to join. Olivia, Deborah said hi to Anne-Marie. Michelle is also in the house. So make sure you comment as well. Every single live stream, we would love to see you comment below one key takeaway from the lesson that we run. And the second thing is, what is something that you're going to do differently after watching each of the live streams? But we'll be live on the hour, every hour. We're in hour 3. At the moment, I'm still in my office, but you know, you'll be coming to bed with me. You'll be watching me put on, well, not watching me put on my pajamas, but you'll see me make a clothing change. Brushing my teeth. I'll even be doing that with you probably. Oh, no. I probably won't brush my teeth because I won't be able to talk. But I've already organised a little bit of a pamper night for myself that I'm going to do. It's a slumber party, guys, right? We can have pillow fights across the internet. All right, guys, have a great one. I'll see you at the top of the next hour, which is only 28 minutes away. Bye. And thank you, Anne-Marie. Bye-bye. Oh, she's gone. There we go. That's okay. She said she had another meeting to run to. So anyway, guys, bye.